The U.S. Supreme Court began hearing arguments today on an immigration law that could affect us all. Arizona's SB 1070 was signed into law 2 years ago and was met with a storm of criticism. At the time, SB 1070 was the strictest anti-immigration law in the country. But a lower court blocked some of its provisions, and today the Supreme Court is considering those provisions to see if they're constitutional. Joining me to talk about today's case before the Supreme Court is Elisa Barba, senior editor at our Fronteras Changing America desk. And Elisa, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you.
I guess the first thing is, can you give us an overview of SB 1070 and then also specifically what parts are being considered today?
SB 1070 was a law passed, as you said, 2 years ago in Arizona, and it's essentially a broad-based crackdown on the illegal immigrant population. It's one of probably the fourth in a series of very stringent laws passed in Arizona that seeks to deny public services, to keep illegal immigrants out of the schools as much as possible. This one is about, it basically requires, these are some of the controversial provisions that are being heard today at the Supreme Court. It requires police officers to ask for legal documentation from anybody they stop at a traffic stop or something like that. It also allows police officers or law enforcement to arrest somebody without a warrant if there's a reasonable suspicion that they're in the country illegally. It makes it a state crime to be in Arizona without legal papers. It also makes it a state crime to work in Arizona if you don't have legal papers.
Yeah, and I think one of the main questions was that what is reasonable, a reason to stop somebody and ask? I know that's something that a lot of people, a lot of critics were talking about. But in today's court session, what are some of the main arguments and how so far have the justices responded to that?
Well, back to that question about what's a reasonable suspicion. So there's a lot of people who believe that this kind of law can lead to racial profiling, that you could see somebody on the street and say, oh, that person looks like an illegal immigrant, I'm going to pull them over. The justices didn't want to hear anything about that. Basically, the argument against the law by the Obama administration was essentially that this oversteps the federal responsibility to carry out immigration law, that the federal government is supposed to carry out immigration law, and if the state is going to be enforcing immigration law, number one, they don't understand all the nuances, and number two, it oversteps their authority. Arguing in favor of the law was a lawyer, Clemente, from Arizona, who basically says, you know, we've been forced to carry the burden of the federal government not enforcing their own immigration laws. Our state is overrun with illegal immigrants, health costs, school costs, high crime, you know, drug smuggling, human smuggling across the border, that our state has to do this. And since the federal government isn't enforcing their own laws, we're going to go ahead and do it.
On that note, the Pew Hispanic Center, ironically, right about now, just released a report that said illegal immigration is down in the U.S. Anything you can say about that, and does it pertain to illegal immigrants?
Basically, they're saying that migration from Mexico, and the time period they used was 2005 to 2010, so that does not track the migrants since 2010 when this law was passed. So this was just 2005 to 2010. During that period, the number of people migrating and immigrating illegally and legally from Mexico equaled the number of people, more or less, who were going back to Mexico. So there was a net zero migration in and out of this country. And that's the first time that that's happened since the 1930s. So that's really extraordinary. Why it's happening is something that the study doesn't address. They give lots of different reasons. Primarily, my belief is that primarily it's the economy. I mean, a lot of Mexican workers will be working in the construction industries, especially here in the Southwest, and that has just evaporated since 2008. If there's no work, a lot of people will go home. Also, increased enforcement. A number of deportations are way up. So there is some of the enforcement and the economy. There's also some issues back in Mexico that affect this as well. But it is ironic that the argument is that the federal government is not enforcing its own laws and we have this flood of illegal immigrants, but in fact the numbers are say something different.
And even though those numbers don't pertain, like you say, this report, particularly after the 2010, some of this law has gone into effect and it does have an impact already on California and Arizona.
Well, absolutely. There are some provisions of the law that have gone into effect. Sanctuary cities are not allowed in Arizona. In other words, if you say that, okay, my city is going to give legal sanctuary to illegal immigrants, that's against the law in Arizona. Secondly, citizens in Arizona can sue law enforcement if they see them not enforcing immigration law, which is quite extraordinary. So that's pretty much put police departments in Arizona on watch, that they have to work very hard to see that they're, following up every lead on this kind of thing. So what impact has this had? There has been a net decrease in the number of illegal immigrants living in Arizona, according to our best estimates. But again, did they leave because of the bad economy, or did they leave because of this law? It's hard to say. A few other states, have passed very similar laws. This law is kind of considered a blueprint for cracking down on illegal immigrants. Most famously, Alabama. And Alabama has, in fact, had real problems actually, harvesting their crops, that the agricultural workers have fled the state, apparently.
Right, and we're showing you from the New York Times a graphic of the immigration laws that have been passed in various states. Now, one question is, with the immigration patterns, is there, or has anybody documented an influx of immigrants coming to California from Arizona, let's say because construction jobs are here for whatever reason?
You know what, I've never seen any figures that show that people actually have come to California from Arizona. We do know that Arizona numbers are down, but I believe California illegal immigrant numbers are down as well because of the economy. There is some sense that people have gone to New Mexico. You can get a driver's license in New Mexico if you are an illegal immigrant. So there is some evidence that people have gone there. There's some evidence that people have gone to Utah, which is considered to be a little bit softer on illegal immigrants. So I can't say conclusively that it's had an impact here. The impact that this will have, though, on California and other states, if in the Supreme Court today, it did seem as if the justices actually were in support of some of these very controversial provisions of the law. So if they uphold the Arizona law, essentially that kind of opens up a Pandora box to allow other states to pass immigration laws in their own right. And we might see something like that in California. In particular, what you might see are laws allowing guest workers to come from Mexico or to come from other parts of the world to come and work and help in our agricultural industry, because that has depended on immigrant workers, and it has suffered.
So certainly states are watching what is happening here. A lot of people have got their eyes on this. Alicia Barba, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.